These 4 businesses will surely fail. Before you start them, watch this video to the end so that you understand what are these 4 businesses that obviously when you start them, they will fail. And the worst thing that you can ever do in your life is to put that money that you've saved for a long period of time, then the business goes down into the down drain, you get frustrated, you even become depressed. All right, so guess what? I'm gonna share with you these 4 businesses step by step. All what you need to do is to watch this video to the end so that you understand exactly what do I mean. All right, and guess what? I always post a video each and every day about how to make money, how to invest, areas to you can be able to pick, and other good vibes out there. If you don't want to miss any piece of my good videos, guess what? Take 1 second, just down below there on your right, there is a button written subscribe. It is free, doesn't cost anything. Just hit that magical button, then like this video and comment down below all that what you need for you people to see or watch or get the next video. All right, so for now, let's get into the business. Now, the business number one. The business number one is the business that you solely start motivated by passion only. Okay, what do I mean by that point? That business that you're starting is solely motivated by you having the passion about it. It's nothing but passion, passion, passion. And I understand this is the main reason why people start a certain business. Somebody approaches me and tells me, hey, you know what, Joseph, I would love to start a cosmetic business. I would love to start a hardware business. I would love to start a salon. I would love to start, or any other kind of a business that is out there because I am passionate about it. Any other reason that I always ask them, why do you want to start this business? The answer is always, I'm passionate about business. And remember one thing, you're not selling these products or services of yours to yourself. You're selling to other people. Let me tell you one thing, it's always good to go beyond your passion, meaning you have to inculcate or incorporate other reasons as to why you're starting this business. It's not only about the passionate. How about if you're passionate about selling coffees and such kind of a thing, and you're doing this business from an area where there is a large production of coffee? Let's say you're doing this kind of a business, let's say in a place like that business place where you have that production of coffee, or let's say you're selling cereals and you're selling these cereals to the farmers. You're starting this business in up country where almost everyone has that specific of a product that you're selling, but you're passionate about it. All right, so it's always good to go beyond your passion. It's always good to consider other factors before you starting that specific business, not only your passion. I understand that passion should be a factor to consider when starting a business, because the motivational speakers say like it's good to start that thing even if it fails, because you're passionate about it. You're gonna push it out there and all those kind of things. But let me tell you one thing, at times it's good to do things that you're not doing them because you're motivated. You're doing them because they ought to be done, and you're doing that specific business because that's what. Now we go to the next point. Now, what's the next factor, or rather the next business that if you start this business, you are sure that this business will fail. All right. And the business number two is a business that is a copy paste. A copy paste business is simply a business that you're starting just because you've seen either your peers, your friends, your neighbors, your enemies, your relatives, your whoever doing that specific business. You see it are functioning very well. The business is profitable. Maybe you do spend with them a day or two or a week or a month, and then you realize that business is actually doing so good. And then there you are. You believe that if you want to truncate exactly that to where you come from, then by default that business will peak. And this is another thing that I've seen with a lot of people who actually either operate due to ignorance, or they do not understand, or maybe they just operate under the jealousy. They see a certain hardware functioning on that cross of the road, and then there they come, they open another one, and they start operating from there. You don't even understand the nitty-gritties about that business. You don't even know exactly what buttons you are supposed to press so that this business can be lucrative, can be functional, and can actually pay itself and also pay you. One thing that you're supposed to understand with business is that if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business person, you always pay yourself last. What do I mean? Like, you have to pay your suppliers first, you have to pay your employees first, you have to pay your landlord, you have to pay the government, you have to pay the permits, the licenses, all those conformity. You the last person who gets paid in that specific business. So if all those boxes are ticked, like it can be able to pay itself, the business can be able to pay the utilities, like of the water, electricity, the business can pay the employers, those are the current expenditures, the business can actually be able to supply the suppliers and what have you, then and only then that's the time now you say this is the high time and the right time to actually go ahead and execute this specific idea. But this issue of seeing a certain business somewhere, seeing it successful, assuming that if you were to incorporate that in your locality just because you have some money in the bank and there you are, at the end of the day you're gonna fail in that specific business. So cease doing what we call the copy pasting. And again, I'm not saying that you go out there and discover a new business that has never been done on earth. That is not what I'm saying. It's okay, you can copy paste, but let it not be the only reason why you're actually starting that business. You understand the nitty-gritty about that specific business. You understand the way through, the way in, and the way out in that specific business. All right, so it's always good to consider, like, where do I get my suppliers, who are my target customers, where do they come from, what are their financial stabilities, what do they consider in this area, what are they lacking, and if they are getting, is it of good service, is it of the good quality, and all other these factors that you have to consider. And again, you may find, or you may realize, not all factors or all the boxes will be ticked. Some of them will be left behind for you to actually go ahead and involve that aspect of the risk. Because I always say, for you to be a business person, you have to have two qualities with you. And the quality number one, of course, you have to have an aspect of risk, appetite inside of you. And of course, when I say risk, I mean a calculated one. And the other factor, of course, you have to seem as if you're crazy. That's for sure. If you do not have those two factors in you, then you do not have business being in business. All right. Number three, and this is about the business that you don't understand it. All right. This is a business that you just dreamt, and maybe you're just somewhere and then you thought, like, go ahead and start this business. Let's say you've never been in beauty business. There you are, you want to start a beauty business. You don't even know the nitty-gritty about it. There you are, maybe you just want to start like a spare parts business, you want to start a pharmacy business, you want to start like an agrovet, you want to start, just name them. It's only that you don't understand that business, how it goes about. You don't understand how people or what people do when this happens or that happens. All right, it's a business that you just got yourself into it, you love the business, or maybe somebody told you, like, you can start a business, or somebody challenged you and told you, hey, it's not good to keep your money in the bank, withdraw the money and start a business and grow yourself and all that kind of a thing. You panicked, you anxious, anxiety, and then there you are, you feel like you're being left behind. You go withdraw your money, you put it on the grow, and then there you are, you're starting the business. If I may give you a very real case scenario, I had a friend of mine, by the way, still a friend of mine, though we kinda, they are far from me as of now. So they were employed somewhere by the government, and then they thought, hey, you know what, we can just go ahead and start the matatu business. And he had nothing in terms of information on how the matatu business goes about. So he went by and bought a car, put it on the road, and gave some guys, and of course expect money at the evening. All right, then the very first 1, 2, 3, 4 months was okay, and then after some times, I don't know what happened. The guy was kind of stressed. Even when he was there, he wasn't even, he wasn't even productive from his job and such kind of a thing, because you get yourself into a thing that you do not understand. All right, what I say, or what I mean is this: it's always good to make sure, let's say maybe you want to start a matatu business, go and engage, involve, discuss, spend some time with people who are already invested in that specific industry. Ask them, engage them, ask them, hey, how does it go, how do you do this? And sometimes I always say this: when you're gathering information about investing, don't post question as if you want to start. Just post question as if you just want to know, in a neutral way. All right, just like them, hey, na hii biashara yenu is a bit tricky, now how do you guys go about it? Right, hey, it seems like, but don't be like, okay, hey, this business, I love it, I would love to start. No, you don't do that, because the moment you talk like that, people, every human being, they are a bit selfish. Some of them, are jealousy, some of them you even call your friends, but they are not like that. So the good thing, when you're gathering information about investing, it's always good to actually inculcate or involve neutrality in terms of your gathering information. Just be smart out there, talk to them, sometimes spend a time with them, ask them some of the challenges that they usually face. And it's good to ask from multiple people, but don't over ask. If you ever ask some people, you might find some people who are suffering from depression, people who are suffering from stresses, some of people, because honestly, right now, if you say you want to start a hardware, somebody will tell you, don't dare, because that business, what did to me, I cannot imagine about it. But there's some other people out there who are actually operating that business, and they're saying, if there is a nice business to do, is a hardware. You get what I'm saying? So don't over ask, don't over consult, because in the process you might get the wrong, what call them kind of reviews, and that one can actually discourage you from executing your idea out there. All right. So anyway, we go to the last but not the least. All right. And the last one is starting a business without understanding the ground resonance. Meaning, you are starting a business that you don't understand, or the ground is not resonating with that specific business. It's only you who is resonating with that specific business. It's always good to do your due diligence. And by the way, let me tell you one secret. It's always good to make sure that that premise that you want to execute or start that specific business, be a frequent visitor of that place if that is not the place that you reside. Make sure that at least you spend the evening there, spend the morning there, spend the afternoon there, spend like a day there. Just try to, listen to the vibe, listen, resonate with people, just see what the majority does or do, or what do they do, what do they happen. I mean, all those kind of things. What do you think are suffering from? Sometimes it's good to like appear crazy, ask one, two, or three of them. Sometimes it's good to befriend yourself with some people who are operating from that specific area, so that at least you understand the vibe in that specific area. Because some of them, they have, by the way, there was a place where I used to reside, and that place looked so good and resonating, or can be able to resonate well with businesses. And let me tell you one thing, people like were opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing. And I was like, this place is so good, it's populated, has good a lot of people, and again, people operating or rather starting business and closing. What exactly might be happening in this specific area? So you find this person maybe is a newcomer, he comes or she comes from whatever the place to that specific area. He sees the population, he sees the availability of vacant shops, and there you are, you don't even question yourself, why are these shops like vacant, and yet this is a good place in terms of the traffic? Because in most cases, factors that people consider is the traffic. They say by default of having a place that high large number of people, then by default this business will do, because you tend to translate that a lot of people means customers. That is not the case. You might find like a lot of people actually do not resonate with the business that you're opening in that specific locality. So it's always good to just understand the vibe of that area, understand what that area requires or needs, or what it is, how do you go about it, and that kind of things. Otherwise, if you just assume all these factors and say, hey, you know what, I got some money in the bank, I have myself a business plan, there is a vacant shop here, and there you are, you start bringing the stock and you starting selling. That should not be the case. Try to understand and see if that specific idea that you're having actually goes hand in hand with that specific area, so you don't lose your money out there. But did I say that all those factors will be considered and all the boxes will be ticked? No. When you're starting a business, there's some things that you have to overlook. You might find a very good place, has a very good traffic, in very good resonating in terms of the customers. It's not good secured, the security are not there. You have to re-enhance your building, like with grills, with CCTVs and such kind of things. You may find a place that has the best security on earth that you can ever imagine. You can even just leave your doors open, but the customers are not there. You may find a place that has a good security, has a good customers, but the landlord or the landlady, they are just like any other kind of guy out there, and they actually make your life hard. There's some factors that you cannot be able to get all of them for you to actually go ahead and execute a business idea. So it's always good to quote unquote overlook some ideas, of course, using what you call the risk appetite, and then from there you can pick it up and move to the next level. Hey, you know what, guys, if you've managed to watch this video up to this particular point, I'm so much grateful. Consider following me and consider actually subscribing and liking this video, and as well commenting down below, because I'm a believer, just like an iron sharpens another iron, so do we learn from each other. For now, it's a goodbye. And if it's your first time watching me, I'm Joseph, talk about money, investment, and anything related to that. And guess what? You can grab my number from the description of this video. Give me a call. I offer services pertaining to business consultation, financial advisories, and I have booklets about investments. Right? For just a cup of coffee, we get started. All right? For now, it's a goodbye, and see you in the next one.